Hello, everyone. Welcome to Options with Doug, streaming Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name there is @Pless. Here are the key tenets to my approach for trading. This is the basis of my approach to trading. First of all, I believe options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures, and certainly in the equity index futures like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, and large cap tech stocks that I follow like the Mag 7 stocks. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index, SPY is the ETF version of that index, and ES, the futures, is a derivative of SPX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with ES futures. And for the NASDAQ 100, NDX is the underlying index, QQQ is the ETF version of that index, and NQ is a derivative of NDX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow on Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow on Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis, and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset, and setups in that asset can be taken any number of ways. For example, the S&P 500 setups can be taken with ES futures, SPY shares, SPY options, SPX options, or even ES options. So again, the setups that I will be talking about are suitable for both futures, shares, and options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug channel in Discord as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Hello, Stephen. Welcome. Glad you're here. Here's my agenda for today, Monday, April 8th. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events that are upcoming this week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. More about that in just a few minutes. Then I'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's start with economic data and events coming up this week. There are a few key events. First of all, beginning on Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, CPI data is released. That is typically a market mover. And then the FOMC minutes come out at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So that is the minutes from the previous meeting. So Wednesday, a big day. Then on Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, PPI comes out. And then on Friday the 12th, 10 a.m., Michigan Consumer Sentiment. There are also a number of Fed speakers throughout the week. All right, let's move on to positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the SB 500. This is the ES futures in Bookmap. Before I take a closer look at this chart, I want to take a look at a higher time frame. I'm going to go to the underlying index. Again, that's SPX. I'm going to start with a one-day chart. This is Thinkorswim showing a one-day chart for SPX. The current rally began last year, October 30th. This green trend line is showing the bottom of that rally. The green trend line goes to the top. And this rally is, so far, SPX has rallied up over 1,150 points. So let's take a look at the top portion of this move higher. I'm going to go to another SPX chart. This is a 30-day, 1-hour chart. So we're going from a one-day chart now to a 1-hour chart. Here's the top of the green trend line. There's the big bar move lower last Thursday on Fed comments down to the 5150 level. That was the put wall at the time. All right, so more about the levels on this chart. First of all, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. This is based on the options market. It's also based on the closing price last Friday. For SPX, those lines will stay in place for the entire week. Then the dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move, also based on the options market. In this case, based on the closing price on Friday. So it's based on the closing price of the previous day. I update those lines every day. And I do post the updated daily expected move along with the current weekly expected move in Discord every evening for the day before, the following day. All right, so SPX trading in a very narrow range today inside both the daily and weekly expected moves. All right, the other lines on this chart are Spotgamma levels. These are provided to Spotgamma subscribers. They're available on a variety of trading platforms. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. And hello, Katinga, welcome, glad you're here. Hello, Tony K, welcome, glad you're here as well. All right, so let's take a look at the Spotgamma levels now. Again, I want to point out the key daily levels. First of all, here's the 5,000 level. That is the absolute gamma strike. That's a strike with the largest absolute positive and negative gamma. So that's where most of the gamma-weighted open interest is concentrated. The next level up is the put wall. That's at 5165. That's a strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. And note the put wall has been quite volatile recently, moving just about every day. So now it is at 5165. Just above that is the volatility trigger at 5195. That's Spotgamma's proprietary volatility flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to enhance or increase volatility. Above that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue or decrease volatility. And note that SPX is trading slightly above that level. Also, the 5200 level just above that, that is Spotgamma's line in the sand, risk off, risk on, line in the sand. That was noted as support in the AM Founders note today. And we'll see how We'll see how the SPX reacted at that level earlier today. And then finally, the call wall is at 5,300. That's a strike with a large net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. So those are the key daily levels. That's the landscape of the gamma levels, gamma weighted open interest levels. Let's wrap up our view of SPX with a 1 minute chart to get a closer look at the levels in play for today. So this is SPX for today. Here's that 5,200 level that I talked about just a moment ago, acting as support and more or less as support again. So again, SPX trading at a very narrow range today. All right, so this is the ES futures and Bookmap. I have my own cloud notes, so I can show, both SPX and SPY levels on one chart. By the way, for SPX, the volatility trigger and put wall did shift higher, so that is slightly bullish for today. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So there's the 5,200 level that I was just talking about. There's the volatility trigger, 51.95. So I have SPX levels on this chart. So here's the 52.20 that was noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note. So it did not appear on the 1 minute chart for SPX. I do put that in my cloud notes, those support and resistance levels. And note there is an offset between ES and SPX that changes a little bit every day, gradually tends to move lower over time toward the next contract expiration rollover. Right now, that difference is at 49 points. So ES minus SPX equal 49. So I'm showing SPX 5,200 at ES 5249. I do post those index relationships that I'm using every day in Discord in the Options-Doug chat channel. All right, so I'm also showing SPY levels on this chart. Here's the SPY 520 volatility trigger. So that is above the 51.95 volatility trigger. Also SPY round number levels. Here's 518. They did act as support today. So that's just a round number for SPY, acting as support. And then again, the 52.20 along with SPY 520 acting as resistance. All right, so again, SPX, volatility trigger, put wall, shifted higher. And then for SPY, the volatility trigger also shifted higher. And the volatility triggers were just slight moves higher. Very small. All right, so that's the levels in play for the S&P 500 today, trading in a very narrow range, somewhere around 20 points. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ now. This is the NQ Futures and Bookmap. And let's take a quick look at the underlying index charts. I'm going to go to QQQ. This is a chart for today. These levels not necessarily acting as support and resistance. Here's the 440 absolute gamma strike and the 441 volatility trigger. It did somewhat act as resistance earlier today and again this afternoon. Also VWAP just above that. So that's the 441 volatility trigger. And below that, the 440 absolute gamma strike. Round number level 442 acting as resistance. All right, let's take a quick look at NDX. Then we'll go back to NQ Futures. NDX today, the only level in play is this 18,090 level. That's a combo 4 level. Combo levels combining, in this case, NDX and QQQ, gamma weighted open interest, into one combined level. And here shown in terms of an NDX price. All right, let's go back to NQ now. Levels in play. Oh, again, I have my own cloud notes so I can show QQQ levels. There's that 441 volatility trigger acting as resistance this afternoon. And then the 440 absolute gamma strike. There's also the NDX 18,090 combo 4 level. Shifts in levels for NASDAQ. For NDX, there were no shifts in levels, so that's neutral. And then volatility for QQQ, volatility trigger and call wall shifted lower, and put wall and the absolute gamma strike shifted higher. So kind of a mixed picture for QQQ. All right, so very narrow trading range for the NASDAQ as well. All right, we'll talk about setups in a few minutes. Let's wrap up our positional analysis by taking a look at gamma notional to see how market makers were positioned on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. This is the data table at the bottom of the AM Founders Note, Spotgamma AM Founders Note. I like to look at gamma notional for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. These numbers all did shift higher from Friday. So Friday gamma notional was quite negative, especially for SPY and QQQ. That can always lead, that's potential put Vanna fuel in the tank for a rally. A lot of that put Vanna fuel was used up on Friday. So gamma notional, basically neutral for SPX, still negative for SPY and QQQ, but not as negative as Friday. I'm going to skip over the Vanna model. There's not really much to see here today. All right, so my thesis for today, looking for more moderate volatility than Friday due to the dropping gamma notional, and also just expecting not as much volatility and movement before the big data releases later on this week. CPI, FOMC minutes on Wednesday, and PPI on Thursday. All right, so let's move on to setup review now. All right, let me talk about this just a minute. The one reason that I'm doing this is for me. I'm reviewing, these are the instruments that I like to trade. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, and basically Mag 7 stocks. And then I've recently added a few others here after Tesla. ARM, no, that was in play for a little while, but not so much. CrowdStrike, not so much, but still Mara and Coinbase definitely in play with the movement in Bitcoin. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm reviewing setups from earlier today, and I want to learn. I want to learn what I could have seen, what I could have done better today to identify the stocks that are in play earlier today. So that's what I'm doing. So, please join me on this review of setups. This is, again, something that I do to review my day, thinking about what I could have done better. Why didn't I see this? Or did I see this? How did I trade it? Could I have done a better job? All right, so let's start with the S&P 500. And the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at what options traders have been doing today. So everything that we've looked at so far, other than the Bookmap, is based on static data. Spotgamma takes open interest data that's provided once a day, sometime overnight by OCC. They apply their algorithms to that data to come up with the levels that I put on my charts. Now we're moving on to execution real-time data, and this is the hero signal. This is available to Spotgamma subscribers. What this chart is showing, this is for the SP 500. It's showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal for SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures, all into one combined signal. So if you trade any form in the SP 500, this is the complete signal. This is what you want to take a look at. So this chart is showing price for SPX and the hero signal with the purple line. That's hedging impact real-time options, HIRO. A rising hero signal indicates traders are taking positive delta positions. They're buying calls and or selling puts. There are really no negative sections today, just maybe moving slightly lower, more consolidation. So a rising hero signal, traders are taking positive options delta positions. They're buying calls and or selling puts. And a falling hero signal indicates they are taking negative delta options positions. They're buying puts and or selling calls. And remember, market makers are taking the opposite side of those trades. So when traders are taking positive delta positions, market makers take the opposite side, and they have to buy ES futures to hedge their delta exposure. And Compulsive Guy was asking about this earlier today. Let me just clear these arrows out. Let me zoom in on the chart first. All right, so sometime there is a lag effect between the hero signal, especially in the S&P 500 and ES futures. So let me all right, so what Compulsive Guy was asking is about this move right here. So just looking at this overall, consolidation in the hero signal, and we'll talk more about morning setups in just a moment. Hero signal moves higher, price moves higher. Hero signal consolidates, price moves lower. Hero signal starts to move up. In this case, it takes some time, about 45 minutes, for price to respond. So one way of looking at that is that as a leading indicator. It just takes some time in this case for the S&P 500 to respond. All right, so let's take a look at price action earlier today. So first of all, from the open, this hero floor alert comes in. That signals significant options activity, and often it's indicating a shift from positive to negative delta or vice versa, or a positive flow to negative flow. So often a mean reverting signal here, acting as a good mean reverting signal. Flow alert, hero signal turns lower, price turns lower. Then price consolidates for quite a while. We'll take a look at this on the Bookmap chart in just a minute. By the way, there were much better setups in other instruments. And then the hero floor comes in again just after 10:20, and price breaks out of that consolidation. So let's go take a look at Bookmap. Oops. All right, go back to the S&P 500. Hello, T-Bond. Welcome. Glad you're here. And you're welcome, Compulsive Guy. I hope I answer your question. All right, so let's zoom in. All right, so remember 9:35. The hero flow alert comes in. price moves lower. The volume dots in Bookmap are showing market buy minus sell. Green volume dots indicate more buyers than sellers. Magenta dots indicate more sellers than buyers. So just right after the open, traders start taking negative delta positions. Aggressive sellers come in and move price down to the 518 level. That's the SPY at 518. A good bit of consolidation, and then the flow alert comes in just after 1020. Also note at that time, large iceberg order there that's showing one execution, 896 contracts. That was quickly met by sellers, but anyway, that helped to kind of kick off this move higher out of this consolidation up to the 520 and 5220 level. All right, let's go back and take a look at Hero. All right, so about 10:30, just after that move higher, Hero signal consolidates. Price starts to move lower. Let's go back and take a look at Bookmap. So there you go, 10:30. First target met. Hero signal consolidates and price starts to move lower. All right, so that's the SP 500. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. Let's go back to Hero, see what options traders are doing. All right, for the NASDAQ, I like to take a look at this MAG 7 signal. What this is a combined signal showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal for Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and NVIDIA and Tesla. These stocks make up a very large component of the NASDAQ 100 and often drive price. All right, so let's zoom back in on this chart. I'm going to focus on the morning. So what I want to focus on here is this move higher right at 940. Then Hero chops around a bit, finally starts to move higher right around 1010, and then price moves out of that consolidation maybe around 1020. All right, one thing that fooled me with Hero, the MAG 7 Hero signal, was this move lower right here, just after 10. All right, so let's go take a look at NASDAQ now. So here's the long, right at 940, sharp drop, almost down to 439. And NQ did go below NQ 250. So that move was good for about 100 or so NQ points. All right, so let's zoom in on this. So this is what fooled me right around 10 o'clock. Remember, the Hero signal from MAG 7 shifted lower right at the QQQ volatility trigger. I thought the move was going to go lower. I was able to wiggle out of that for a small profit, but it did not go the way that I expected. All right, so the main trade earlier today was right at 10 minutes after the open, that sharp move higher. Let's go back and take a look at Hero. So in this case, price started to move lower. This is price for QQQ before the hero signal moved lower. All right, let's move on to some stocks now. All right, this is AMD, and I have not seen anything quite like this. I did post this in Discord. This is just, it doesn't get any better than this. This is, let me change. Green light, that hero flow alert, signaling a shift in the hero signal. Green light, get long AMD. Whoops, let me meant to change that back. Green light, red light. Again, it just doesn't get any better than that. Again, signaling a shift in the hero signal. So signal shift in the hero signal. Traders are taking positive delta positions. AMD responds, moves higher. Options traders take their foot off the gas right around 10:30. Start taking negative delta positions. AMD moves lower. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Also, let's take a look and see what options traders are doing. So the rising blue line shows they were selling puts, and the rising orange line shows they were buying calls. Note right around 10:50, both lines start moving in the same direction. All right, I'm going to have to jump. Oops. Jump back. Zoom in. All right, so from about 9:40 on, they were selling puts. That's shown by the rising light blue line. Then starting about 10 minutes later, they started buying calls. Orange line, blue line moving in the same direction, and AMD moves higher. Provides a little bit more nuance, more clarity. And hello, Caesar. Sorry I missed you before. Hello, welcome. Glad you're here. All right, so let's go take a look at AMD and Bookmap. Zoom in on this. Remember about 9:50. Blue line, orange line start moving in the same direction. AMD breaks out of that consolidation. Cumulative volume delta rising. You can see all the green volume dots coming in. Initially, a lot of magenta volume dots. And then starting right around 9:40, when traders started selling puts, more aggressive buyers come in, and then finally AMD breaks above the 168 level, moves up to 171. Options traders take the foot off the gas, and AMD moves lower. All right, so again, it just doesn't get much better than that. All right, so let's move on. Let's take a look at Google. Go back to Hero. Hello, Katinga asks, does the Mag 7 give flow signals? I don't believe it does. I have never seen a flow alert signal on the Mag 7 signal. So you have to look at the individual components for the hero signals. So the flow alerts, if that's what you're asking about. So it would be nice, but no, that as far as I know, it does not. I've never seen a flow alert on the Mag 7 signal. All right, so here's Google. No, the flow alert, first few minutes after the open. Traders are buying calls. That's shown by the rising orange line. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls. They have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. Note that 155 is the call wall key gamma strike, and that is where options traders take their foot off the gas. Call buyers driving price up to the call wall take their foot off the gas, and Google consolidates at that level. So there's the 155 call wall key gamma strike. Quick move higher. Let's zoom in. Good entry point here, good pullback to VWAP. That's shown by the light blue line there. Let's go back to Hero. All right, so there's that pullback. Flow alert, quick pullback. Then a move on up to the 155 call wall. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Another flow alert just a few minutes after the cash open. Let me change back to the total signal. This is a little bit noisy with puts and calls. I have to jump and then jump back. So this was not as clear as AMD, but this flow alert did come in. Hero signal kind of chopped around, but Microsoft responded higher pretty quickly. And here's another green light, red light situation, indicating hero signal on, hero signal off. You know, again, a little bit more chop, but that is definitely marking those hero signals, marking pretty much a low and a high. Green light, red light. A little bit more clear for AMD, but still quite effective here. So let's go take a look at Microsoft. Hero green light, hero red light. All right, Anurag, welcome, glad you're here. Asks, since flow alerts are random, how do we know which ticker to trade? Because it happens so quickly. That I guess the only way to do that, and that's something that I'm working on, these flow alerts are fairly new, is just watch them in the morning and pick out one and watch that stock and look for an entry point. So that's one reason I'm doing this setup review. What could I have done better? How could I have done this better? How could I have seen the best alert earlier? So this is what I know how to do. Just review these setups, see how they turned out. So I know so far that I thought the most clear, The best signal was for AMD today. And then Microsoft, also a good signal. Google as well, but Google typically does not move as much. It's lower volatility. So yeah, at Anurag, we'll take a look at, when I get to the live market, we'll take a look for current alerts. All right, so let's move on. NVIDIA. So let's go take a look at Hero. Go to NVIDIA. All right, so in the case of NVIDIA here, there was an alert that happens about halfway through the move. So not as helpful as the AMD, Microsoft, and Google alerts. But noted there is a very strong correlation between options trades and hedging activity for NVIDIA. NVIDIA pretty much following the purple line today. Now heading lower. All right, so in the case of a divergence like this, I might be looking for a short in NVIDIA. So let's go take a look. Let's go back to Bookmap now. So here's the short in the morning. Quick move lower as options traders were taking negative delta positions. Good for about 15 points or so in NVIDIA. All right, let's move on. Let's take a look at Tesla. Very bullish day here in Tesla. Let's go to Hero, see what options traders are doing. All right, this is very clear. Another flow alert comes in just a few minutes after the cash open. Note that 170 is the key gamma strike. 172.50 is the call wall. Price quickly moves up to the 172.50 call wall. Options traders take the foot off the gas for a few minutes. Then they take the foot on the gas again. Price moves higher. So far for today, for Tesla, there's just been a green light, no red light. All right, let's go to Bookmap. Let's separate out puts and calls. So call buyers and put sellers driving price for Tesla today. This is another very clear setup. Mainly call buyers driving price. So again, when traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls, and they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. And you're welcome, Anurag. All right, continue to ask if in a trade, do you stay in a trade till another flow alert, or do you use price action to manage the trade? This green light, red light that I've talked about, something that I don't see that often. So no, I don't use a flow alert to manage my exit. I use price action and levels to manage my exit points. All right, so Tesla, very bullish day today. Traders continue to take positive delta positions, buying calls and selling puts. Certainly would not be looking for a short in Tesla today. All right, let's take a look at another stock, Coinbase. And I'm going to go back to total signal, jump back to, all right, so another flow alert here in Coinbase. quick move higher up to the 257.50 call wall, and short a few points above that level, market makers take their traders take the foot off the gas. Coinbase moves lower and then moves down to the 250 key gamma strike. That's where options traders start to take positive delta positions again, and price moves higher. And so far, traders today continue to take positive delta positions. All right, so let's take a look at Bookmap. Let's go to Coinbase. All right, in Coinbase, I just added this today, so I don't have price levels shown on this chart yet. I'll probably do that later on. So we know that 257.50, let's just check our levels again. 257.50 is the call wall, and 250 is the key gamma strike. So let's just mark those levels on the chart. 257.50 and then 250. You can see all the liquidity at 250. So I'll just circle this. All right, quick move up. Some resistance initially at the 257.50 call wall. Price moves higher, then breaks lower as options traders take their foot off the gas, and then price moves down to 250. Options traders start taking positive delta positions, and now Coinbase continues to move higher. Anurag says, I'm starting to look at the slope and speed of the put and call hero signal and stocks to gauge the direction, just thinking out loud, gauge their direction. So that's a good thing to do, I think. Look at the slope. So let's go back and take a look at hero again. So I have the total signal here. This may be a little bit easier to look at. And I'm looking at this, as you get more data during the day, it's a little bit easier to look at. So here the slope is very steep. Options traders, aggressive, taking positive delta positions. That reverses pretty quickly. And then here starts to level off. One more move lower. And then gradually starts to reverse higher. So you can see, looking at hindsight here, very steep for the first 20, 25 minutes. What ends up being some consolidation, and then the hero line starts to slope up again, now consolidating a bit, slowing down. So during this time, you really want to look for a long entry, as long as the hero signal is sloping up. Here I would be a little bit cautious. So yeah, Anurag, that's a good idea. All right, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Yeah, I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's take a look. This is the most recent alert. So this is for Microsoft. This is quite old, about 45 minutes old, but it is signaling this flow alert moving. Hero signal moving lower. After that alert, looks like there's a divergence in price between Microsoft and the hero signal. So let's go take a look at Microsoft. Let's go back to Bookmap, go to Microsoft. All right, so there are a lot of green volume dots here. So just based on the hero signal, all right, Anurag asked, when you trade the Mag 7 stocks, do you worry about what is happening in 3 indexes? Just a general view of them is enough. So I'm not sure which indexes you're referring to. I watch the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, so I do pay attention to what those, what the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are doing. I really don't pay much attention to the Russell 2000 or the Dow Jones, the Dow 30. So and I do watch this total Mag 7 signal as well. All right, so far today, made a move lower. Now consolidating. All right, let's go back to Microsoft. Watching this divergence. This was the last flow alert. Hero continues to move lower. Let's shift to puts and calls, get a little bit more clarity. Let's go back to Bookmap. All right, so far I don't see any evidence of aggressive sellers starting to come in. A lot of green volume dots. Maybe a reaction at 425. All right, so again, does anyone have any other stocks they want me to take a look at? All right, so Microsoft, pretty slow mover. Let's just go scan Hero. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA Hero signal continues to trend lower. See if there's a setup in NVIDIA. NVIDIA continues to make a series of lower highs. But so far today, finding support around the 870 level. So if there's a short, assuming that 870 continues to hold the support, there's really not much room for it to move. All right, let's go back to Hero. All right, Tony K asked, do you know if the Spotgamma on Bookmap Market has Hero add-on to. All right, if you're talking about a Hero add-on for Bookmap, that was how Hero started. So the first version of Hero was only available as a Bookmap add-on, and that was deprecated several years ago. And Spotgamma moved to this web-based version of Hero. So this is the only version of Hero now, and this version of Hero on the web is orders of magnitude better than what the Bookmap add-on, Hero add-on ever was. There's way more functionality. It was convenient to have Hero shown on a Bookmap chart in the subchart, but this version of Hero has way more functionality. It's way more useful. All right, Caesar wants to take a look at Boeing. Let's do that. So Caesar, I don't have Boeing in Bookmap, but we can take a look in Hero Signal. So there was a flow alert earlier today, a few minutes after the cash open. Looks like a move up from around 182 to 184. Options traders take the foot off the gas. Boeing moves lower. All right, so there you go, Caesar. All right, Tony K., I'm not sure I understand your question. This is the only version of Hero that's available right now, the web-based version that's available to Spotgamma subscribers, alpha subscribers. Let's just scan through here. AMD move's already been made. Amazon, Google, Hero continues to move higher. Meta, grinding lower. Let's take a look at Meta, see if there's a short setup. It may be down near support as well. Yeah, Meta near the low of the day, 520. Not much to do there until the Hero signal starts to tick up. All right, Tony K., I guess I answered your question. Let's take a quick look at Hero again. Just scanning through. Still, this is the latest alert. Most of the alerts come in the first few minutes. Microsoft divergence continues. Now looks like the Hero signal may be leveling off. NVIDIA down near the low of the day. Tesla maybe slowing down a little bit. Let's take a look at Coinbase. So Coinbase up above the call wall again. All right, Tony K., great. Glad I answered your question. Let's go back to Coinbase, take a look at that. Remember, 257.50 is the call wall. Let me draw that line. resistance. Maybe support. Coinbase heading up to the liquidity above. More aggressive buyers in now. You can see all the green volume dots. Cumulative volume delta continues to rise. Higher liquidity price targets above. This is the heat map and Bookmap showing a history of the limit orders in the order book. Above price, these are limit sell orders. They tend to attract price. Note how they were consumed here, then came back in at 260. More orders, limit sell orders. Take one last look at the S&P 500 consolidating. NASDAQ, same. Trading just above point of control for today, shown by the purple line there. Most of the volume today concentrated in a pretty narrow range between this 18,090 level and the 441 volatility trigger. That's looking at the session volume profile here. All right, everyone, my time is up. I want to thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.